All right, I started.
Oh.
No, I started just now. You could do it.
Oh, no, it's fine.
You start, bitch. Welcome back to the Center Podcast. I got my co-host Mark here. I'm Victor. How you feeling today, Mark? Talk to the people. Let them know what's up.
I'm feeling pretty good. I woke up with a headache. It sucks, but I'm here and I'm feeling
persevering.
Good.
You got the varsity basketball player hoodie on with the Nike bag in the back. I see it.
I'm out here.
You about to go hoop, even though rain or shine, it's snowing out here.
It don't matter, it's never a day you can't hoop. I just gotta clear that. I bring my own shovel to the court.
Yeah, clear it out.
Could put some salt down. We good.
I sell oils on South Street look going on.
All right, bet. Exactly. So you be right there on the outside of the cage.
Yeah. That's how we met. That's how all this started.
Exactly. If the other kids ask, before they come in, you gotta at least talk to you first, so they can, you can offer your deal.
Yeah.
Every opportunity matters.
I got the chest drawn, show all the oils.
Exactly. And you take Cash App too, so there's no denying if they don't have their wallet with them.
Exactly.
So
that's how we got here today. That's what paid for all this.
Exactly. See, we're doing that. We're getting big moves out here.
Of course. But yeah, we out here for another episode again. I think last time we were recording, it was snowing too. It's snowing again. In Philly, it's not as bad, but over here,
actually, stop. What the fuck?
Yeah, I can't see outside. The floors are covered. Yeah, it's like it was thick, but it's supposed to end soon.
It ended here. Literally about 10 minutes ago, it was still going. And I look outside, I don't see a single flake now. So it's pretty interesting.
So that's fine. We here and we're not in the studio yet again because
it's cool.
We didn't know what the hell was going to happen.
Right,
but next episode, we promise we'll be there, hopefully.
Yes.
But yeah, today is Sunday, February 7th, Super Bowl Sunday, biggest holiday in America. Second to Christmas.
Exactly.
But yeah, first off, we're gonna start. What's your pick? Are you watching today? What are your opinions? What do you think?
I got the Chiefs.
You got the Chiefs?
Yeah.
You got the boy Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
His brother just signed to play with Temple.
Wow, look at that.
Jackson Mahomes, I think his name. He plays basketball for us.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. Something though tells me it's like, bro, maybe you should probably pick, the Buccaneers. Like, it's something just telling me.
I'm going with the Buccaneers.
You see, I don't know. It's weird. It's like there's some reason. There's this little bit of thing telling me maybe you shouldn't go for the Chiefs. Maybe it's the Buccaneers.
Usually, what it is, it's always every year. It's like a really good offensive team and a really good defensive team, and the defensive team usually ends up winning. The Buccaneers, the Bucks have a crazy offense because of their wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And but Tom's even though he did really good this year for the most part, he's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not the Chiefs have a better offense.
Yeah.
But the Bucks defense carried them. They tore up Drew Brees the last 2 weeks ago. And I think the Bucks are gonna win it. And I hope that that Tom Brady wins. Not because I'm a crazy Tom Brady person, but I just love a FU moment. For him to leave New England because it was he's too old and he's done. There's and the next year you take a team that didn't go to the playoffs at all to the Super Bowl in Tampa. The Super Bowl's in Tampa and win and be MVP and then retire.
Yeah,
he's as much as people want to argue if he does this, bro, he's the GOAT. You can't do that.
At that point you really can't argue.
At 42 years old, bro. Yeah, against Patrick Mahomes, probably the next best guy. He's gonna take his place.
He's gonna try. He's definitely gonna try. But it's really like you said, an FU moment if he wins, and it's just
it's a movie. It's a literal movie how it's about to play out.
Exactly.
He got dropped by his team that he was with his entire career.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Went to a team that didn't even go anywhere the year before, which also shows how good he is because the wide receivers and everybody who's there, they were there last year with a different quarterback and didn't go anywhere. And now this 42-year-old man pulls up and takes them to the promised land. You can't say he got carried. He has a good team around him, but they were there last year and they didn't do anything.
They didn't do
and
anything.
Now this so happens that he's there. They're in the Super Bowl in Tampa.
Whoa! One look back at it, and you're okay, now we're here. So,
come on now.
Yeah.
I just love that type of thing. I want that. Even though people are I hate Tom Brady, whatever. I don't like the idea of hating somebody just because they've been good.
No, so this is my thing. I don't hate the player. I think the player is perfectly fine. It is annoying to see the same team, you know.
But that's not his fault.
Exactly. It isn't his fault. It isn't his fault. Especially when you have a fucking contract that's not your fault. He can't leave. So it's
don't get mad at me. Get mad at all those people that suck. Like,
they're ass. Yeah, they're ass. So it's like, I never hate the player. It's really just like, it is, I guess you would say, it is anybody would be annoyed to see the same team go constantly. And that's why whenever it's new teams, everybody's like, oh, they're so excited because they're like, we never seen
it is new teams before. Though. It's just Tom.
Yeah.
Tom is in it.
And it's like, oh, we have these new teams and now we're like, oh shit, like, let's see what happens. And that's what's so exciting about it. But when you see the same team, you're like, okay, we can kind of expect because we obviously New England here. And we're like, okay, Tom Brady, we're like, okay, he's really good. And then the other team, we're just like, damn, we don't know. But
and when you think about it, like if the only thing that happened that's consistent from last year is the Chiefs were in it last year. So they're the team that were already there.
Yeah, they were already there. So they kind of already.
And it's also dope that if the Chiefs win, they win back to back. Like there's a lot going on today.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's kind of dope.
It's a lot on the line, kind of, you would say, like for what's about to happen. But
yeah, I'm excited. I hope it's a good. Because people are usually mad because like they're like, oh, the game's boring. Like I remember it wasn't last year's. It was like the year before where it was like all defense and people were like, yo, this Super Bowl is so boring.
Nothing's happening.
But it's just like it's because you're not watching. Like sit down and watch the game. Like like sometimes it just gets like that. Like if you want to watch the commercials, watch the commercials. But like for people who really enjoy it, like you could sit there. I think it's gonna be a good game. Hopefully. Yeah. I think the Bucs are gonna do it. I don't know how it's gonna go with the weekend. I hope it goes well.
I think
he's supposedly he's not having anybody come out either. Like it's gonna be just him. And he paid $7 million of his own money for the performance.
I just don't know. Like I feel like for you to say I have nobody coming out, it's just me. Like I feel like
maybe it's a lie. Maybe it's a buildup for.
I feel like it has to be because when I think of the weekend and I think of Super Bowl, I just feel like those two just don't add up that well. Like
I mean, his newer music does.
His new, I have noticed like his newer music is definitely like it's more
it's Miami Vice.
Yeah, it's more upbeat, but still, like, does he have enough of that to kind of go? Well, I guess
he does. It's just we don't listen to it because
I guess there's only really 3 songs you really need. They really only play like 2 songs,
and it's usually like a mashup. It's never like the whole song.
That's what I'm saying. So it's usually like maybe 3 to 4 songs that they have to use. So I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I just think of the weekend though. I just don't think of him being solo at a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's hard. Usually you gotta have some. That's why I was talking to like my family, basically trying to figure out like what's gonna happen because like every year somebody comes out. And like usually what it will be, it was like that's what I said. I was like, it's usually somebody that they have like a feature with in a popular song.
But I don't think Drake will come out just because I know how he had that whole injury recently. And
he's working on an album.
He's been on his whole like I'm a white, just sit down and kind of like start working on shit. So they can't be him.
Because like even with last year, it was like J-Lo and Shakira, but then they had J Balvin and Bad Bunny come out.
Yeah,
which is another thing that I mentioned that I can see Bad Bunny getting a Super Bowl in like the next 5 years, like a New York one,
fucking course. Like, bro,
the way that
bitches will be going to the Super Bowl just to see him. Like
the way that like even like white people who don't even speak Spanish like him, like he's gonna be there. I'm surprised Drake hasn't gotten one.
I'm pretty sure he's got offered it, but he doesn't want to do it.
Also very true.
Because Drake he's even. Bro, couple more years ago, like he's been on this where he's like he doesn't care. Like that's why he doesn't care to go to the Grammys. Like
true,
he just doesn't care about stage appearance.
For sure, he's probably gotten offers like every year, and it's just like
come on, Drake. Like either think of that title.
Either he asks for too much money, or like he just doesn't want to do it, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel like it was both.
But Michael Jackson did it though. Like you two.
But that was 2 different periods, and how things are going.
Michael pulled out. He said.
True, and everybody was just 5 screaming. Minutes. Yeah, yo. That's why oh my God. That's why I would always say, Michael Jackson is like literally my idol when it comes to like music, bro. Because like to think of that is a human being just standing there.
And it was loud, bro. Like even through this, I can't even imagine being there, but hearing through my phone speaker, like whatever, like listen to like that cheer is like crazy. And he's just
to literally just stand still and people are cheering.
An uncomfortable like 5 minutes. And then to like do that and it gets louder.
And it's even more. It's, oh my God, he took off his glasses.
And you see people like, you ever see those? I'm sure you've seen them, like people in crowds like getting carried on stretchers at his concerts, like because they pass out and everybody's like crying, pulling their hair out. I'm just like, yo, like
Like,
no one man should have that much power.
Exactly, yo. This is why Kanye made that song, bro. Like damn, bro. To imagine you just walk down the street and like just imagine like that effect you could have on like a person's mind and just emotion. Like, yo, like my God, bro. I would just you're unstoppable. Like you can get whatever you want.
Yeah. Literally. I don't know about score.
And then he talks like this.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know about score for tomorrow. I say I definitely got the Bucks. I don't know what the score is gonna be, or today. It's today.
Yeah, I was like tomorrow. He's just predicting for
but I see it either one of two ways. Either it's like the Chiefs just blow them out, and that's how they win.
Game.
Or for the Bucks, it'll be a close game and they win, and it'll be because of like the refs or something like that. People are gonna complain about it.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
When you hear Tom Brady,
it's not going to be a Bucks blowout for sure. It's definitely going to be close if the Bucks win. Yeah. But if the Chiefs win, the Chiefs are tearing that ad up. They're going to leave them in the dust.
Grass.
Yeah, can of whoop ass.
It's just over. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, so we'll see. But I'm thinking now I might switch to the Bucks because, like, again, I had that feeling. Like, I'm just like, maybe.
Bro, it's hard to bet against Tom. Like. Yeah. Even when I think the last time he won, or no, the second to last time, because he beat the Rams that one year. With the Falcons when they were losing by like 30, and they were like, oh damn, like the Falcons won. And then Tom just on the sidelines, like
he said, all right, it's my final form.
And I took that personally and just started started beaming it.
Okay, he said that. Y'all said they won. Okay.
Last time I checked, it was halftime. Last time I checked, I still had time on the clock.
He said, all right, let me just put my knee pads back. All right. Who's talking shit? Let me just get the names of everybody who's talking shit. All right, cool. You? All right. So, yeah, you just never really know. But, yeah, I feel like that's how the game's going to be.
I would wish.
Just like if they get the opportunity, then the Chiefs are blowing them out. And definitely Tom is going to be, like, holding it down for sure so that they don't. So
what worries me about Tom is that like I don't want like the issue. I've mentioned this before. I feel like the issue with like players that are that good, they struggle with knowing when to quit. And I really hope that like if he wins today, he's like, all right, I'm done. But other part of me is like I know that like when people are that competitive, it's hard for them to stop.
Yeah,
like with Kobe, like rest in peace, obviously. But like towards the end of his career, like the injuries got to him, and he wasn't what he used to be, and it took him a while to retire. And even in his last season, you could see he was physically like pushing himself. Like he went from he will ball, go to the bench and be wrapped in ice and gauze and like trying to stay healthy because his body was just done. Or like another quarterback like Brett Favre, like he like before he retired, he was in the Packers, then he went to like the Vikings, and he went to the Jets, and then like all the, like it was he never did good at either of those teams. Like you just got to know when to call it. There's very few times when that works out for people like Tom or like this. In the same season, Phillip Rivers with the Colts, or like Peyton Manning, he just got lucky. He knew when to quit because Peyton Manning went to the Broncos and won that one year, and he was like, "I'm out."
He
like,
said, "Nah, this is all I needed. I'm out. This is all I needed."
So it's hard for people to know when to quit. Like Jordan with the Wizards, even though he did all right.
But I guess with him, it's just the idea of everybody is just like watching him. Like, just him being that good of, like you said, that good of a player. It's like all eyes on him. It's like, and you have so many people going against him. It's like he just wants to constantly keep saying "F you," get off of me. Like, or
like with Shaq in his career, like before he like retired, he went to like 20 different teams. Like, and like
my man's just trying to find something, just something.
A lot of those times when you're so used to being good at something, it's hard to like admit that you're like, I'm done.
But and it's just hard because then when you start seeing all these newcomers come in, it's like it's almost as if like we're slowly pushing you out. This is just how it always happens. You gotta retire at some point. Like your bones ain't their bones. Like come on, like
it's either you go out on your terms or it gets to the point where it's just like, all right, you're not starting anymore. Like Eli in New York, like they got that new guy. He got sat down. He had to watch for that whole year. I'd rather go out on a high note and just be done. Like Drew Brees, even though he didn't win this year, like he was like, all right, like I know I'm not where I'm at anymore. Like I need to stop.
Yeah, because you never know how it's gonna go. You never know what's gonna happen out there, and for 1 second you're like, oh, I'm fine. Next, either you're just worn out or you get fucking take a crazy hit or something happens. And now you're like, well,
then you really effed up. Then you
now everybody's looking at you like, what the fuck?
Like you could have ended. You could have stopped a while ago and been
now
fine.
You're not going to be getting more money than you thought you were because of how shit's going on. So it's like,
yeah. Another thing, we about to trade Carson Wentz in a couple of days. They said in the next couple of days he's going to be gone.
Yeah. That man he wasn't hitting like he used to.
I don't know. Even after we got rid of Doug, he's still like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. And they say they're going to go to Chicago or Indianapolis. But I just want to make sure we get something good out of him.
Yeah,
I'm just going to accept the fact that like I really hope, because not that I don't like Jalen Hurts, the new guy, but I just haven't seen enough from him yet to believe that he's the next guy. So like. It depends. I'm okay with the Eagles being like, all right, we're gonna suck for the next couple of years. Like we're gonna get young players and like just enjoy what we get. But if we're gonna win now, I don't see him being the answer. Because like right now, our O-line and wide receivers and everybody like our O-line's old, our defense getting old. Wide receivers, obviously, we don't have any. So it's just like I could get letting him grow and build for a little bit after we suck for a couple of years, but whatever. Enough football for people before they click away, even though it is the biggest like football time of the year. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention, and I'll make this quick. Have you seen this Zendaya movie that came out? Like it was in Michael and Marie or something like that.
Okay, so
Malcolm and Marie.
I've seen things about it, but I haven't watched it.
Bro, I watched it yesterday, or like I tried to. That movie is so depressing and so just uncomfortable. Like
there's movies like that. There was a movie, what was the movie called? Fuck. It had I think Scarlett Johansson, and it had the boy who plays like, I guess not villain anymore or whatever, Kylo Ren from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That actor.
Oh yeah.
It was them two in a movie, and it was like a marriage type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that movie, bro. That movie was like kind of awkward. Like it was literally just like two people fighting the whole movie.
Bro, that's what this movie was.
And you just felt like you were just there,
like I shouldn't be watching this. Like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, like the way the acting was, because then it'd be those movies. Like again, when it's serious movies like that, a lot of the times like they have no like music in the background. It's literally just like
just
how it would be
yelling. Yeah,
it's just yelling. You're just sitting there, like, and then when they both stop talking, you just hear the silence. Like
you feel like the third wheel just watching it all.
You
like
hear the silence. Like what's somebody gonna say next? Like is it gonna stop here?
Like basically the whole gist of the movie was I don't know if they're married, but whatever. Like it's a couple, and they came home from an event because the husband is like a movie director, and it was like the premiere of the movie. And they get home and like he's all happy about it, but she's upset because he didn't thank her in the movie. That's basically the whole idea of that's what sparked the fight, right?
Okay.
So basically the movie essentially was about her, and he didn't mention her at all. He's like, oh, I want to thank like my actors and my mom and my agent. He didn't mention his wife at all. So she was upset.
Yeah.
And that's like the intention of the movie or what starts it all. But the entire movie is just them as it's a toxic relationship. Them arguing about that, or starting off with the argument as that, and it just evolving to other stuff. But it's 2 hours of them two just battling to see who could offend the other person more. And like say, like you ever been in a fight or like seen an argument where like it's not even about what they arguing about anymore. It's just who can hurt the other person more. Yeah, that's all that was for 2 hours. And it's and it's bad because like they both have like bad past. So it's just like them digging deep, and it's just like, yo, like this is
so it's funny because it's not similar. The movies aren't similar, but in a sense it has that concept because the husband in that movie, the one Scarlett Johansson, he's like it's like the same thing for some reason. He's like a director or something like that. And I think she plays in his, like, I think he's like I wouldn't say musical, like a Broadway, I guess you would say, like kind
of screenplay, like
yeah. It's like one of those. And I think she was like in it, and he just didn't like thank her, or he kind of was taking all the credit. And that's kind of how, in a sense, it ended up being like that. And then eventually it just got to them fighting, not being happy with each other. And the worst part about it too is that there was a kid involved. Like they have a kid. So then it was all this idea of like, okay, they were getting divorced. And then you see from her side of her getting her lawyer, you see his side of his getting his lawyer. And then the fact that you're just like trying to see like you don't even know which side you want to be on because you're like, they're both kind of bad and fucked up.
Yeah.
And then you just like, oh, I want custody of the kid. I want custody of the kid. Oh, you can only see her this amount of times. You can, and then it's just like, okay, we're gonna make sure we take majority of his shit because he has a lot of money. You're like, oh yeah, she's not gonna take anything. We're gonna leave her with like dog shit. And you're just like, my God, like, but then like, damn, bro.
And on top of this, so this was, I was like, after I watched it yesterday, I'm like, maybe it was just me. Like, let me see like what people were saying about this movie. So basically, the movie was shot in 2 weeks. It was shot during COVID times. So like the staff was low and like it was literally it's just the two of them in the entire movie. They don't show the event. Then they just show them walking in the house after that event and being in that house arguing the whole time.
It's like, all right, begin.
Like, and that was it. Like it's all in black and white.
Oh man.
And so I saw somebody comment, I think it was on Twitter, it's like this movie just looks like a long ass perfume commercial.
Chanel. That's all you hear.
Savage Dior.
That's all you hear. Number 5.
Chanel number 5.
Chanel number 5.
And it's like that the whole time. And I'm just like watching, I'm like, yo, like they just cutting deep. Cause like, again, Zendaya is a drug addict who's recovering again in another movie. She can never she's always the girl who like doesn't care about anything or like is that attitude like in Spider-Man and Euphoria and Shake It Up. She
plays that role, man.
But that's all they give her. God dang. Like,
but no, this is the thing. Like they see that. And the thing is like, you got to think about what is she like trying to go for, you know? Like I'm pretty sure she wants to go for more stuff, obviously, but you know, the roles people want to see is what they want. And I mean, you can't blame, you know, if you see somebody and they're giving you that role, you're kind of like, fuck, I'll take it, you know, if you can't find anything else. But
what's funny is that Matthew McConaughey commented on that. Like in his early career, he was like, because in his early career, he was doing a lot of like, oh, he's like the pretty boy or like the eye candy in the movie, like a Channing Tatum type.
Yeah.
And at some point that he was he's like, I don't want to just be that guy. Like I want to do different roles.
Yeah.
And
so she'll get there.
He said that there was a point that like he had to turn down a lot of roles with a lot of money on the line because he wanted to avoid being stuck in that hole.
Yeah, and you also gotta make sure that they talk to their agent because like
that's what he did. He was like, yo, like I don't like anything that's along those lines, I don't want it. Like, I don't care about the money.
Because it's like, bro, like, come on, like, we see it has a lot of money and we got dollar signs. And the thing is, that's the issue too. It's probably her agent. Like, I don't want to just say it's probably her, but like the thing is, agents eat off of what they do. So it's like
probably pushing to like, yo, like take
the agents see the money. They're like, oh, take it because you know I get that percentage out of it. So like, let's take it. Meanwhile, she doesn't want to do that. So
and
like,
Matthew McConaughey mentioned that too. He's like, yo, like they came to like he said that he kept turning down a couple. And like one movie that actually ended up being made, they kept coming back with like a higher offer. And after a certain point, he like caved on it. But he was like, yo, like I need, like if I'm gonna do this, I need to have another, like I need to find another role that like I can break out of this.
Yeah, I would definitely say, okay, I take that role. And then like literally when I say yes, I'm gonna still be telling my agent like, yo, like find another role. Like, because I'm not gonna do this movie and then sit on that money and then, you know, look for, because they're just gonna come right after me at that point. Like, you know. So she'll do it though for sure. I just think she needs to like talk to her. Yeah, and she just needs to talk to her agent.
And I also want to say like they did so supposedly it's Zendaya and Denzel Washington's son in the movie. I think I don't know if that's wrong or like that's what I heard. But they did well. Like they acted well. It wasn't bad acting. It was just the storyline and like the way the movie was shot and all that was just bad. Like it would make more sense if they showed the award, like the premiere and the stuff that happened there that led to the argument. Yeah. And like whatever, like the whole movie is just flat. Like there's no up or down.
So yeah, you just feel like there needed to be more. Like,
there's no build
in
up
between, like like more in between stuff to kind of get you to be like, okay, you understand their situation and like you understand the character.
Yeah, like
you kind of start off and you just see people fighting and you're just like, okay, we have no idea what these people are about. And
what didn't start with them arguing? It was like at first like passive aggressive, like them walking in the house, changing, and she was making him food, and he he was excited about the premiere, like, oh, like they loved it, this and that. She's like, yeah, whatever. Like you could tell she was upset, and that's how I went into it.
Oh, girls when they do that, bro. I'm like, oh, he about to get me started.
But yeah, like there's no like we learned about that stuff in like middle school, or like grade school, just like every story like has a beginning, a middle part, a climax, and then a solution. We did like that was like repeat in our minds as kids, and like that movie didn't have any of that. It was just arguing the whole time.
Okay, they just said, all right, climax.
It was just like a super toxic relationship.
They were climax,
and they were both terrible. Like, he was bad, like that guy, like he was a a-hole. But they both had their wrongs, and they were just coming at each other the whole time. Like it was just uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, that was the same situation with that other movie. It was like Marriage or something. I don't know. But yeah, that shit was just like they started coming at each other so hard to the point where it almost came at points where they were like, oh yeah. I think he said at one point he was like, oh yeah, like I hope you die. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, he just like shit. I'm like, damn, did he really just? I'm like, bro, you got no fucking picks, bro. You just
and I'm all for like films that like push boundaries or like are uncomfortable. Like they tell a story that's like you don't usually hear about, or like something. Yeah. I like that stuff. I prefer that stuff because it's not as boring as like the same story over and over. Yeah. But just the way that it was just poorly executed. Like I feel like,
that movie was good. The one I watched, I'm telling you about. But I just felt like, like. I don't know. I think it was really good now that I think about it. It was just like you definitely got to be ready to be like in an awkward situation if you're not used to movies like that. But it definitely is good and cool to see how they make a movie in a different perspective of something, as if like, this is actually what happened. Like, this stuff actually happens. You just don't see it like in a movie screen, or you don't see it. Like if you're not in the situation, you obviously have no idea what this looks like. Yeah, and it's like that's just kind of where they're kind of coming at. And if you want to watch it, here it is. This is what you could expect from something like this if you ever get in a situation.
And I appreciate stuff like that. Like what's another like something that I always hear people find uncomfortable to watch is When They See Us. And that was something they were telling a story. That Park 5. Those 5 kids that like got arrested for something they didn't do. Yeah. That whole Netflix series or like mini series. People always talked about it being like very uncomfortable to watch, but it was a real story about something you didn't hear about until very recently, unless you were a select few. And like it was done really well, and it made people uncomfortable to watch. But it was a story that needed to be told, and it was done right. Like I get like the whole idea of like telling a story of like a toxic relationship or like verbal abuse and stuff like that. But the way that was done, I was just like, yo, like what am I watching? Like, and if that was the intention to make me uncomfortable, like they did it well, but I don't know, I just didn't like it. Yeah. Everybody's just like, yo, like literally the headlines are like, oh, like they did good, like the actors did good, the 2 actors, but they need a better movie. Like that was like that was so bad.
They just need something to kind of like they could work together again, I guess you would say, but it's just like not doing something like this.
Yeah.
So
I can't watch this. I was like, this is unbearable. This is terrible.
I remember I watched that. I was just like, whoa.
I know a movie. I've never seen it, but I've seen like there's a famous part of like the guy's part of like him screaming, like his hair and all that. Like there's a famous part.
Yeah, I think it's when they're in his house, because that's the thing. Like they live together, and then he had to move out and get another place. And then I think they had that argument at his place. And it was just like, bro, what the fuck? Because then he had to they had to call in, basically if he was to get custody or whatever, they had to, I don't know what it's called, because obviously I'm not somebody who works in that field to know, but basically someone had to come over for like to see if he would be capable of like taking care of the kid.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So she had to come over, and there was just shit that was going bad and wrong. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so awkward because he's really trying, but his shit's not working out as well. And I'm like, oh my God. And he's just freaking out. And the lady's just there, just kind of like not with it. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for my man. He just wants to have his kid with him. And I'm like, fuck, this is not going well. And then she comes over eventually like the next morning, and shit just gets crazy. And I'm just like, bro, this is intense. So yeah,
man.
Hope y'all watch those movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of people. I didn't even like intend on watching it. It's just I seen a lot of people talking about it. So I'm like, you know what? Like anytime I don't usually take the time out to sit down and watch movies. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just give it a shot. And
I don't either.
I'm just like, oh man, like this is what y'all like that toxic stuff y'all into, because I'm cool. I don't need this.
This is the trend.
This what y'all eating up.
Yeah,
it's cool to be toxic.
They said, hey, this looks familiar, but I don't think I ever did this before. Meanwhile,
and what's funny is I've seen people on like Instagram, basically like who watched it. They would be like, oh, like what'd you think of the movie, or like basically asking more specific stuff. Like, who do you think was in the wrong, or like whatever. And some people are just like, oh, like this is natural. This is like real love, like relationships, like this happens. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Like,
bro, anybody that says,
yes, any couple has a disagreement, they argue, but go ahead.
Yeah, anybody that says, oh yeah, couples go through this, like, or like they have their problems. It's not like kind of like you said, like they go through this, but it's like the fact that you say that, and it's the idea of like you're kind of justifying it, because then it's like the idea of, okay, you should expect it, like it's not something you should expect, like it should be something where it's as easy as, okay, there's a disagreement, like you said, let's try to fix it and not hash it out like this. Like,
you shouldn't be telling the other person you wish they would die.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, and to sit there and be like, oh, it's perfectly normal if somebody has their anger and they come up to it, but it's like, okay, getting to the point where I wish you would die, there's no way that just came from straight out the gate. Like there's something that led up to it. So it's like, you obviously can take the precautions and the necessary things to, make sure it doesn't get to that. But if you obviously wanted to, then there you go. That's what you're causing, like that's.
And that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's the same in that movie, but like, it was just like all that old dirty laundry just started coming out of that, from that one argument. It was just that one thing that like bursted the doors open. So they were just mentioning like, oh, but when you did this, or like you did that.
Yeah, there was so much other. Yeah, they just brought all this shit from the past, and I'm just like, damn.
This could have been avoided if y'all just like addressed when it bothered you at the time. Like you didn't have to let it snowball.
Yeah, or just literally, just slowly, mention it. And okay, let me say this. I definitely understand there are people out there in the world who really don't give a shit, and they're really just like, oh, I don't care what your opinion is. I'm still going to do me, and I don't care how you feel. Like, yeah, there's definitely people like that. And at that point, you should just leave.
Yeah.
It definitely does suck if you like have a kid involved and all that, because then you got to include that, and it goes a lot of shit like that. But if there isn't a kid involved and you do have the opportunity, please, like, just leave.
Get out.
If there's other things that end up coming from that, then yeah, I hope shit doesn't get to that. But yeah, just leave, because that's just an automatic, just like, all right, this man or woman is not gonna let you do nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
so whoever's watching that movie is not normal. Like that's not how things are supposed to be. Like, yes, you can get upset and you can have both of your opinions and y'all figure it out or agree to disagree, but y'all not supposed to be out here. And also, bro, I think the script was ran by like Samuel L. Jackson or something like that, because they were cursing. Like they just learned curse words that day. Like it was in every. I want you to watch like 15 minutes just so you can see it.
What the fuck shit the hell
bro,
do you think is going on?
I promise you, it's like that. Literally the whole movie. I know they arguing, but like it's literally just like F-bomb like between every two words for no reason. Like it just like I get people curse when they upset, but it's not. I feel like whoever write these movies be losing perception of like what real people be doing.
Yeah, I feel like you should just sit in a room by yourself and just say like have a conversation of you cursing and just think like, hey, yeah, no one says like 8 curse words in a sentence. Yeah. It's maybe like 2, but like 8 is.
Or that's a good time to mention some improv. Like throw in your curse words whenever you see fit, but like not just every damn.
It's like the subject and the verb is a curse.
Yeah. Like that's the only adjective,
Like, whoa, how is this possible? Yeah. Interesting.
I was just like, like I get it, but damn, like relax. Like imagine if they played that, if it was like a normal like movie theater movie and they had to eventually like put it on HBO or something. Like how many times you gonna bleep that out? Like True.
You're just gonna sit there hearing nothing. It's just gonna be
hear half the movie. You just up.
That's like almost like an Eminem song going on the
radio. Yeah. Somebody said about a Lil Wayne song. It's like a Lil Wayne song on the radio. You only hear like half of it.
Exactly, bro. I remember, I forget what Eminem song it was. And it was just like, what's this song about? I don't know, because I can't hear anything. Like, you don't even know anymore. So,
yeah, man. I'm asking, like, after this, like, even if you don't even gotta look at it, just if you're gonna be at your desk, just put it on in the background and just listen to the audio of that movie and hear how many
like,
how many times they swear. Like,
I'm like, who's cursing right now?
I just hate that, like, over the, like, even like we mentioned it before with like nudity in movies. It's like, all right, like, we can tell what you trying to do here. Like, it's to the point where it's too much.
All right, so I'm gonna just say this real quick because I just finished watching Power. Great show. I recommend it. It's really good. But like in the first 1 to 3 seasons, like, bro, sex was just something that was always on the fucking screen, bro. Like, it was like, okay, they solved this little ass problem that was in the way. Next scene, they're just fucking. And I'm like,
just to celebrate.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, damn. Next thing you know it, but then it'll be even worse when it's like they do that whole thing where it's like, okay, they're fucking, and then little do you know, these two are also fucking at like so the same time.
All these scenes.
So they're like kind of cutting back and forth, and I'm just like, I don't care about it. Like at the beginning, you're like, oh, okay, it's kind of hot, maybe. You know, you're like, okay, maybe. But then, like, bro, after the fifth, like not fifth because I think it's like fifth, but after like, you know, when it gets to the third season, you're like, okay, I'm really like invested in the story. Like I'm really invested in like, okay, like there's actually a problem here. We're not just going to like fuck and just think that nothing's happening out there. Like y'all are selling drugs. Like there are people coming to kill you. Like, come on, like let's fucking figure this out.
Get out of the house. They know where you live.
Like, come on, like this is not going to work. Like, so that's what got on my nerves. Like when I saw so much of that, I was like, all right, like there'd be a point where I would see it at some point. I'm just skip it. I'm like, I don't want to see this. Like, I don't care for it. Like, show me what actually is happening. Like, or I'll be like, okay, as soon as I see a sex scene, I'm like, I pull my phone out. I'm like, all right, so whenever
there's no talking, so I'm gonna wait till it.
It's just music, and I'm like, all right, so whenever they're done, and I see another scene, or I see bright light, then I know it's like, all right, they're done because they're most likely fucking in the dark.
It's like, all right, the 50 Cent's done. Okay, cool.
50 Cent, my man in that joint, bro.
It's just another sex scene. Little mama, let's show you how I work it. Yeah, put your back into it.
Shake that ass. I'm like, hey.
Then it cuts to them doing another juju. It's like, do you think you a wankster, but you never pop? Order the dealership.
Bro, that show's really good though. But yeah, it was just sometimes there's too much of something, and it gets and when it's repetitive too, it's like, all right, I need to chill out. Like,
enough.
Yeah. Some of it was unrealistic, obviously. Like there was just parts in there where you're just like, all right, there's no way. But
yeah. Like the movies we reacted to.
Yeah, bro. Just like I'm not gonna really say anything, but like there's just like kind of like the last season, there's just one part where my man's gets cornered from front and back when he's like in a car, and they cut him off in the front, cut him off in the back, so he can't go anywhere. And there's like maybe like 6 fucking Italians, the Italian mob, and this one nigga kills all of them. Like, like what the fuck? Like, come on. I'm like, yeah, I'm like,
start booking shots.
I'm like, there's no way, bro. Like I don't care who this man is. I don't care what fucking part of the storyline he resides in. Like, I am going to sit in the back of the back of the truck, mount it with my AR, and just tap him in the head once. We're good. Like, we can go home. I mean,
all y'all missed y'all shots. Like,
exactly. Y'all ain't do no like, come on now. So there's just shit like that where I'm like, all right, this doesn't make sense, but
whatever.
Yeah. It's just, and then somehow, you know, you got a Mexican cartel and shit, and somehow they still can't beat some people, some small people kind of, in this sense, they were not that big as a fucking whole cartel, you know, like somehow they didn't lose to a fucking whole cartel. Like, it's kind of just like, all right. Like you see fucking Narcos and you're like, yeah, okay. Like these niggas literally chop body parts off like for a living. Like, I don't think, you know, but again, whatever. It's a show.
Yeah.
To see them. So yeah. too much of something is kind of like annoying.
Of course, you gotta find that balance.
That balance, yeah.
Talked about a lot. We both were like, oh, we don't know what the hell to talk about, and here we go. We probably didn't shut up for a solid 40 minutes.
Once you got the juices rolling, it says sports and movies. That's our topic.
Yeah. It'd be hard to like title our episode sometimes. I'm like, yo, we talked about like 12 different things. Like, what the hell am I gonna pick?
Yeah, it's kind of like we kind of jump from here to there, but it's okay. We kind of like to. It was a good episode. You got some sports where you got a good half majority, then you got entertainment. They're both entertainment actually, but
yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. We got pretty good at it.
Yes, we have.
But we're over on our time, I feel like. So Mark, where can they find you, buddy?
You can find me on Instagram at @ETCMarkyMark. You can also follow me on Twitter at MarkyMark. Twitch is MC_MarkyMark. Follow me there too. Victor, where can I find you and etc. at?
I gotta get me an arm mic thing from my desk. You can find me.
Where can they find you at, Victor?
Hold on, I'll make one up. Y'all can find me.
You can find me all the way up here at
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ETCVictor, as well as Twitch and TikTok. Finally hit 50 followers. I'm working on getting my average 3 viewers. I'm on my way there. I just gotta basically let time pass and keep doing my streams for a month, and I'll be there. But yeah, so look out for that, as well as for etc. It's Instagram and Twitter, real etc. Ooh, kneecap. The bronze kneecap. Instagram and Twitter, real etc. Same for TikTok and Twitch. The email is real.etc@gmail.com. But yeah, well, next time you see us, we'll be in the
stoop.
In the stoop. So, hopefully we can turn things around for 2021 and big things to come. Anything you want to say before we got out of here, Mark?
This will kind of come out obviously after the Super Bowl, but let us know who you think who I guess won or who y'all knew or
who y'all had your money on.
Yeah. And just, like, share, and we'll see y'all next time.